If it's important, you will remember it. So documenting is basically a waste of time. Today, we're going to interview Alex, a serial entrepreneur I've known for more than 5 years, and we're going to talk about the new AI business he's building. One of the things that I find really fascinating about Alex is how incredibly fast he is. He's already running a successful business, but he still has the time to launch multiple new businesses in record time, faster actually than anyone I've ever seen. So today we're going to deep dive into his background first, and then talk about the new AI application idea he's building, and then how he got the idea, where it is now, and exactly how he plans to sell it to his first customers. He'll explain how he gets ideas, how he launches them so fast, and what exact steps to take to first validate and then actually launch and grow a business after you have an idea. Enjoy! I want to start this interview by giving a summary of how I know Alex and a little bit about your history out. So today, as you know, this channel is all about following founders as they are building their companies. First of all, you want to start by telling me a little bit about your current company, Trendflow.
So I've been running an agency for almost 6.5 years now, and we do primarily performance-based marketing. It's Meta ads, it's TikTok ads, Google ads, but it's usually those three main categories.
Right.
So we started it, we bootstrapped it fully from when we started it. It was me and two other friends where we literally went knocking on doors and cold calling and hiring a internal appointment setting team that completely failed, but got us our first clients. And that's how we basically snowballed. We started, and then COVID came.
Right.
Things went south, but we managed to survive and became even better and actually adapted to it pretty well and really fast compared to others. And then we just continued on since then, and we've been always going up and down, but trajectory is generally up.
We always talk about a million ideas. Every time we talk, we have like multiple ideas, and we just can't help it. Have you always been entrepreneurial? Like, when did it start? What's your first business?
Yes, I think I've always been that even since as a child. When I was the first kid in my neighborhood to get a PlayStation, and it was preschool. I was like 5 or something, and I saw that other people were like there were this computer centers where they rented out time to play on them, and I was thinking, why can I not do this at home instead and get my friends to pay me and play at my house?
Okay.
My grandma didn't like that much. She thought that it was a little bit too selfish to charge money from my friends, which I stopped. But that's how it started. I think everything in my life has been just about entrepreneurship and building. I think my instincts are maybe of a builder and then entrepreneur, both of them together, and that's what more or less makes me.
Right.
And I used to build websites, games, everything, stories.
Mm.
I'm like, even as a child, I used to build houses out of paper, just gluing them together, like building
Oh,
stuff
wow.
and
Okay.
trying to
Cool.
present it well to others. So that has been this weird combination always.
Hmm.
Building and selling, building,
Right.
selling, always. I don't think I would be a good employee in general,
Okay.
but
Cool. That's really
yeah.
interesting. So what are some of the businesses that you have before we met? You actually, before Trendflow, you built multiple businesses, and you even ran a business parallel to Trendflow. Can you give us some of those examples, maybe some of the more interesting ones?
Well, yeah, like I started, I think when I was 15, 16, I started by running web agencies. I used to make websites for construction companies or just service companies in general. So that's what was my bread and butter since I was 15.
Wow.
That was
Like,
15 years ago.
yeah, and I mean, when I was 15, I barely knew anything. Like, how the hell did you start a business when you're 15? Like, how did you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I was really interested in it, and we moved a lot. I needed to change schools a lot, so I had a lot of free time in general because I would change schools, and I would feel like, oh, maybe this school I wouldn't have that much social life.
Mhm.
And instead of wanting to connect with other people in that school, I knew that I had only 6 months ahead of me. So I
Mhm.
just spent the 6 months learning something new.
Right.
And yeah, so I was just thinking, oh, I can make websites, and I started playing World of Warcraft. So I was thinking, how can I make my own World of Warcraft private
Mm.
servers? And it just derailed from there.
Mm.
Just too much time on my hands, too much computers.
Right. That's really interesting. I
Yeah.
recognize myself a lot in that actually because I also had all these crazy projects. So web agency. Okay, so you actually started earning money when you were 15, 16?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
wow,
Yeah.
that's really cool actually. Yeah, that is, I think that's quite unusual. So how much did you earn?
I was doing it for the whole summer.
Mhm.
It was a period in my life or in our family's life where we didn't have that much money then. And as a kid, I also wanted to help a little bit. So I asked my mom, hey, can you just post this ad on this Russian speaking website where they could talk to them and she would be the front person. And
Wow.
She said, "Yes, I can do it," and we just tried it out of the blue.
Hmm.
And people contacted her and wanted websites, so she
Hmm.
said, "Hey, like pay us 3,000 crowns for websites." So I did one, and
Cool.
next day another one wanted one. So it just all this snowballed. I think at the end of the summer, I think it was around like 90K after taxes in Swedish crowns
Wow.
for 3 months as a
Damn.
15-year-old. So I was like super happy.
Man, like if I had that money
Yeah,
when I was 15, I don't know what would have happened actually. That's pretty crazy. Like, what did all your
yeah,
friends say? Weren't they
yeah,
like
right.
jealous or?
I didn't tell anybody. I felt because my parents took most of it to pay rent and other
Mhm.
stuff because we didn't have that much at this moment.
Mhm. Okay.
But I had quite a lot for myself. I mean, I had like a couple $100, like I could spend or do whatever I want, and I didn't care,
Mm.
to be
Oh
frank.
yeah, and 90,000 kroner you said, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
that's
exactly. Yeah,
$9,000 for the viewers.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, something like
Okay,
this. Yeah,
cool. All right, so web agency. And then can you give like some
yeah.
other examples of businesses you built?
Yeah, after that, I used to create some software as a service projects, like automated job seeking websites. I ran that for a while. That was like semi break even successful, and then it just went to loss. That didn't work out too well. I think the idea wasn't good enough, and I didn't think through what to do. I used to make also text based games where
Oh.
people play them online text based games. That was also
Hmm.
okay. That was just a couple of hundred revenue a month for free when I run it, but it required a lot of development.
Your curiosity, is that like what made you
Yeah,
do all this? Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, so I let my curiosity run everything. That's been navigating the North Star for me.
Interesting. Yeah. When I was a kid, I also let my curiosity run things. And I did things like I was a Donald Duck subscriber to the magazine. And in one of the episodes, they had this plastic glasses where one side is green and one is red. And in the magazine, the whole magazine was like just green and red lines. So basically, they did
Mm,
this to build 3D pictures. So when you have these glasses on and you look, you
mhm.
actually see this stuff pop out and be inside. Like
Yeah.
that was so awesome. So we had a map. So I actually tried to figure out how this works in the brain. And I realized it's like, yeah, you just kind of go a bit left and you draw that perspective with one color. And then you go a bit right and you draw that with the other color. And that creates a 3D effect. So I actually did my own 3D stuff on the Mac. So yeah, I think basically the lesson is when I think back on that, I could spend like all night on something like that when it was driven by curiosity. And I think that's maybe one of the secrets because one of the things that you have, I think, is pretty fascinating is sometimes you get an idea and then 1 month later you have done more than what basically anyone I've known could do in like 6 months. And I'm like, how the hell does he do that? And I guess that's like in some part when this thing comes from your own curiosity, it doesn't feel like effort for you.
Mhm.
Is that like a good way to describe it?
Yeah, actually, I think it is. But internally, it feels like it's a lot of effort because I think I don't like when people are saying, "Hey, if you like something, you will not feel the pain of execution," and I think it's completely incorrect. It's the same as going to the gym. I think you just have to get used to it and learn how to do it. I think my unfair advantage is that I've been literally building projects since I was a small child. I mean, if I look back at it, right now I'm 30-year-old, and I think I have at least 15 years of experience from running things. So the reason why I think it appears fast is because I don't get hung up on the small
Mm.
details. And I try to focus on just executing and getting the app out there or whatever we are going to test. So I can give you an example. Let's say this side project that we're going to do or that I'm doing that's called RetainerBot. It's a part of my agency where we are helping other agencies to basically lower their churn. When I came up with the idea, I instantly thought, okay, we need to test this idea quickly. I create a couple of ads, run them on Facebook the same day because I think what people are doing is that they spread the project too thin and they give themselves too much of a time. I don't do that ever because I know that from my experience, I can code a website literally within a couple of hours, especially with AI, you can do it even faster. Making ads in Canva or using other simpler tools, you can get things out really, really quickly, like much quicker than you can imagine, or using Zapier or other connections. You don't need to code everything yourself. But the unfair advantage is that I can code and I know exactly how to prompt AI to give me, for example, quicker output or whatever it can be. So in this case, I just thought, okay, I need to test the ads. Now I run the ads quickly, got some lead forms, but you have to also know what lead forms are to begin with.
Mm.
This takes time to learn. I think that's the problem
Right.
with others. Like because I run a marketing agency, I know what it means to run a lead form ads. The lead form ads, for those who don't know, it's basically not having a landing page, but having an ad that shows on Facebook. And when a user clicks it, they get presented with a form they can fill out inside of Facebook. So you don't need a website for yourself. So I would run this type of campaigns and get quick results. I would also make sure that the ads themselves have a very, very clear messaging because you want a boring and clear messaging to win because you don't want to get a success sign from a gimmick.
Right.
That's completely wrong. You want to make sure that the product itself works or the messaging works, the basic one at least. And that's what I do. I try the first part. I do this literally within same day. While the ads are getting reviewed on Facebook, I'm starting to build the
You
website
don't even
and
wait.
doing the landing
Like
page.
you don't even wait. You just do
Nope.
everything. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I don't even
Mm-hmm.
wait. So while I'm doing this, I will start making the website, trying to make sure the front works. When the front works, I start working on the back end. Meanwhile, still the ads are getting improved. And let's say it's day two, I would also have installed some software like Mouseflow or Hotjar on the website. So when I see the traffic coming on the website or seeing the lead forms, I'm gonna just live adjust. I just will be like a junkie sitting inside of the Mouseflow live sessions and looking at what people are doing and being, oh, too many are scrolling too much down. Too many are going to the pricing page and maybe dropping off. That means something there. So all of these are small signs that I just gather
And then you
from
immediately
this
fix it. You
yeah,
don't put it in some kind of list or anything,
immediately.
right? Mm-hmm.
Nope, I will immediately
Mm-hmm.
fix it. I don't even bother creating any project management tools so far at
Mm-hmm.
all. I will just keep everything in my head because you don't need so much. You need an ad, landing page, and that's
Mm-hmm.
it. If you need to break down all the steps to smaller steps, which I think most people need to for themselves, they will get stuck. They will not be able to execute on
Right.
everything. And I just don't do that. I will skip ahead of it. My task list looks like a high level broad category naming more or less.
Okay, that's really interesting. So basically, it's an explosion of activity that is all designed to get to a specific goal. In this case, basically test if there is a market for this
Exactly.
purpose here, right? You did the ads, you did the
Yeah.
website, you even installed Hotjar
Mm.
and stuff. You even started looking at what people are doing. You don't like create a list and just do it step by step. You just do everything and you let your
Mhm.
mind embrace this kind of chaos, basically. I
Exactly.
think that, right?
Exactly.
I think that the chaos is something that prevents people. They are probably afraid of starting something and then forgetting about it. So they never start it. They put it in a list instead, right?
Exactly. And when I put stuff in the list, I will lose my motivation because it feel like, oh, I will have to do a chore.
Right. You do it when you
Uh,
feel it,
yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah, I do it when I feel like it, and I try to just do everything the same
Mm-hmm.
day. But there is one important thing I think what people are missing is that before even this happens, I usually am also creating Google Sheets where I'm literally trying to calculate this business because without having some backbone to it, you will not be confident to even try this. So this has to
Hmm.
work mathematically, the business model.
Right.
So that's something also I think helps me to keep my motivation on and just not forget anything because I know that if this
Mm-hmm.
works, the numbers look pretty
Right.
well. And I make sure to know, okay, I have one model if it's direct conversions on my website, like how much is the customer acquisition cost going to
Mm-hmm.
be, how it's going to be if it's, let's say, selling via demos or leads, how it's going to be the show up rate, the close rate, trial rate, and everything else. So I try to just count this with the most negative or pessimistic numbers I can imagine.
Okay, I see. I
Yeah.
think your approach is quite different from what I've seen in companies I've worked with. It's also very different from mine, actually. But from what I've seen, like people basically, they don't want to, I would say that people don't want to make mistakes. They don't want to forget. They don't want to
Yeah.
start and not end. They don't want to, like, they are afraid of that, right?
Exactly.
They are afraid of the chaos,
Yeah.
basically. And that's what's blocking them. But you do one
Mhm.
thing that is, you don't just run and start doing. You do the thing that is needed, which is you see if there is a potential business case here, right? Then
Yeah.
you go out and you
Exactly.
test it. So if I could distill this into
Yep.
two steps, it's basically create the business case in a simple Google Sheet. Don't worry about like remembering everything you have to do. Just do it as it comes to your mind and just go
Yeah.
and do afterwards.
Exactly. You will have to believe that you will not sabotage for yourself. That's the thing. I think that's where a lot of people, or my employees, for example, when I give them broad tasks, I think many of them have told me that they're afraid that they're gonna sabotage themselves. They don't have a specific to-do list. They're gonna forget and all of this stuff.
Hmm.
But I don't think that's the case. It never happens.
Oh.
I don't think it usually
Right.
happens.
One of the things, that relates to this is something I learned in my old company that I sold.
Hmm.
We used to be so good at documenting stuff until maybe 4 years ago or something. I remember exactly what caused this, but basically something shifted in my mind. And I just told everyone from now on, we don't document basically anything. We just do stuff. We just do whenever. If it's not done, if it's not likely to be done in like the next month, you don't write it down. Basically, that was a rule. We deleted so much documentation. And I think this is related. Like, actually, that is true. Like, if it's important, you will remember it. If it's you don't remember it, it basically means it's not important. So documenting is basically a waste of time.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Depends on what it is, of
Mm.
course, but if you're just bootstrapping
Mm.
something, trying to get something quickly started,
Yeah.
definitely agree.
And especially now, with everything is moving so fast, I think that one of the key advantages for people who want to build a business is going to be speed, even more than before.
Mhm.
Before, I think
Yep.
like strategic planning was still important, but I think today, first of all, you can build really fast. It's probably faster to just build rather than plan.
Yeah.
And secondly,
Mhm.
everyone else is also faster and the world is changing faster. So if you plan, you're already behind.
Yeah, no, you summarized it perfectly well. That's how I look at it
Yeah,
too.
that's super interesting. Okay, so let's talk about retainer bot. You could say probably that you had a slight, let's say, unfair advantage there because you actually needed it, right? Can you tell us the story
Yep.
about how you came up with the idea of retainer bot and what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. To begin with the story, I think it's important to tell how I find ideas because my own method is that I let my brain to be kind of negative on purpose, and I let myself be annoyed by a lot of stuff. I don't try to be stoic. I don't try to say that, oh, this is out of my control or something like this. I literally will let my brain whine and tell me whatever it dislikes because I will get my greatest ideas from there. With Retainable, just to give an explanation of what it does, the software basically reads your emails with the clients from all of your employees and basically tags them and tells you if somebody forgot to answer somebody, or it just gives you alerts or alerts the employees themselves. Hey, you forgot to reply to David in 14 days, which is really terrible. So 14 days is, yeah, out of the line. And as a CEO, I go around and just, for example, if I'm going to go to sleep, I'm thinking, oh my God, did somebody in the team forget to reply to somebody? Is there any of the customers whose tone is declining? Because the tone could decline, but I have no idea. I do get reports from my employees, but these reports are not always matching reality. And it is quite accurate, but they are not 100% accurate. And I was thinking about this and thinking, okay, wow, I hate this so much. Like, why am I being so stressed about this? I really want to control the churn. I want to make sure that everybody's being served the perfect service, but I can't because this involves humans and everybody's different. Maybe one of them gonna wake up on the wrong foot one day, so or whatever, and I will just not know. So I let my mind just be irritated and thinking, okay, what can I do about this? Okay, I could either go and read the emails one by one or have my operations manager do it for me all the time, but that seems too much. And that's where the idea started. Okay, wait, I could just create an app that connects all the Gmail accounts, fetches all the emails, does sentiment analysis, also does on local LLMs, so it's also privacy focused and everything else. So that's the idea. So I was okay. So now we have list of everything that's analyzed. Now we have to categorize them, remove the spam emails from there or whatever came through or whatever. Yeah, everything that could come in there that shouldn't be there. And then finally I created the health score, added KPIs that we're looking for, and added a connection to the Meta ads and also Google ads where we can fetch information and compare it to the goals because that's also a indicator if it's going well or bad for a client. So we could say, oh, the client has a goal of having a customer acquisition cost of 500 a year or whatever, and we are 50 euros off. And we need to know that. Or at least as a manager, I need to know that in a list. So it's going to be easy for me to check. Facebook has some functions that it can let you, but they all are horrible. None of them work. The reporting doesn't come into your mail, even if you said it so. But this compares everything and just gathers everything
Mhm.
together. And this is solving my own
Mhm.
annoyance of just wanting to be in control, wanting to know that my company is going well. And this is what I'm trying to solve. And this is how I find most of my ideas,
Mhm.
just literally letting my brain
Mm.
find problems
Exactly.
and try to solve
Right.
them.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
this problem that you're describing, I mean, I recognize it so much. A few years ago, we also had a very, very big service component, and in the latter years, we became more of a SaaS. But I was constantly worried about our clients unhappy. Are they gonna churn? Did we miss something important? This was a huge worry for me constantly. And I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think you have, like, you're quite early, so I don't know if you have done market research yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of service-based businesses have this problem. Like they're worried basically all the time.
Definitely,
Mhm.
definitely. I know that a lot of accounting firms and now some HR or recruiting firms, they showed a lot of interest in this too. So I definitely think it's gonna be great for services or retainers or yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So basically, you built a tool that is almost like it analyzes all of the interactions between your employees and your customers, and it
hmm
basically notifies
hmm
you if something is wrong, right?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah, pretty
that's
simple.
really cool. That's an amazing idea, actually. If this existed 5 years ago, I would have definitely purchased it.
Same here. Same
Yeah,
here.
that's why you built it.
I would have paid a lot of money
Yeah.
for it too, and that's the yeah, that's the
Yeah,
great part about
yeah.
it.
I mean, like, I
Yeah.
built so many complicated systems in my business and processes just to find
Mhm.
out if a customer is unhappy. Like scoring, I forced everyone to
Exactly.
score a bunch of stuff, blah blah blah.
I remember I copied that from
Oh,
you, by
did
the way,
you?
when you showed me your
Really?
system score. Yeah, I literally copied it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that's what we had to do. Like,
yeah.
that's also one of the things. Like, I don't know if you feel this, but I feel such sense of, oh my God, we have to hurry, 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 because there are so many things we can do with AI now that we couldn't do before. Do you feel this?
Mhm. Yeah, hell
Yeah.
yeah. Yes, 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 and yes.
I'm like constantly in stress because I'm like, I'm too slow. Doesn't matter how much I do.
I think so too, but I think the only difference in my mind is that I think AI is becoming more of a commodity right
Mm.
now, just like developers are becoming commodity. They used to not be as much as commoditized, but I think development is coming to that, and I think it's gonna be great if I'm being honest. I think it's gonna be good for all of us.
You mean development is becoming a commodity? Yeah.
Exactly
So
so.
it's going to be very
Yeah.
easy and cheap to build new software, basically, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think so. I think then what will be unique is that you need some unique solutions to very specific problems where there are no obvious solutions or where the solution would just simply take too much thinking time to produce.
Well, I mean, I've been thinking a lot about what this
Mm.
means and what it's going
Yeah.
to lead to. But one of the things I'm thinking is, will every business just build their own software when they need it? Will SaaS even be a thing
Yeah.
in the future?
I think it will definitely be that, but I think there is another aspect here is that a lot of data is privileged, meaning you're not gonna get access to it. For example, meta ads, good luck getting them into integrating them with ChatGPT or other things without having your own custom solutions for this.
Right.
I think a lot of companies will be hesitant with showing them, especially Google or other competitors. Like Google is not gonna let, let's say, ChatGPT or DeepSeek or anybody else play with data they have in their search. And I think it's gonna be still silver tape together, or yeah, what it's called.
Interesting. So you think that
Yeah.
building these kind of bridges where AI does stuff with multiple solutions could be like a category that is lucrative? Mm.
Exactly. So that's my short-term bet. I don't know. Maybe that will also go
Mm.
away if you have good enough AI will basically create everything for you, even the integration and
Mm.
everything else. But I think that's gonna be compute expensive. I don't think electricity is cheap enough for now. I don't know. But if it depends how far in the future we're talking
Hmm.
about. If it's next year, I don't think
Yeah.
so. If it's even the year after, but I think the electricity cost and the compute cost is too high, even if you would want to produce something amazing.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm getting a million ideas, but let's focus on
Yeah.
retainer bot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people are
Mm,
here to kind of follow you
mm,
and
mm,
others as you're
mm.
actually building the
Yep.
business. I think it would be very, very cool, like to see what you actually did. So you told me now that you built some ads, you built the landing page, you tested it. Can you show me those ads? No?
Yeah, let me see.
So these are the ads that you created originally for testing the idea?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So these are just some of the ads,
Okay.
and they're just sending them to a lead form or to a book a demo
Mm-hmm.
page. So we can see the ads are really, really basic. This is made in Canva literally in a couple of minutes. It's a screenshot from the inside,
Mm.
but you cannot even read the screenshot. It doesn't really matter. It just to show that this is a software
Right.
rather than specifics. And a headline, tangible solution for agencies that want to lower their churn. And then, yeah, some of the points, AI reads every email, free onboarding, built by agency owners, and etc. This one worked the best of them. I create a lot of just really, let's say, shitty ads with AI just to
Mm.
see if it's gonna work, just for fun. It's like clients running out of a building, but yeah, it just didn't work. But the idea here is to create as many variants as you can with the most simple idea you can, or the most simple hook or angle you can imagine. You want to test simplicity. You don't want to test gimmicks. And that's the important thing. You want boring ads to work because if boring ads don't work, it means that your product is probably not that interesting. So you have to do a lot of marketing gimmicks to even get somewhere.
Right.
You can, of course, build a business on top of those things, but then you will always have to be on top of your marketing too. You always have to optimize. If, let's say, you have a bad season, you're gonna also have to adjust to it, or some algorithmic change comes in, you have to adjust. So I would really strongly recommend just trying the simplest formats you can initially,
Mm.
at least.
So basically, you wanna basically build a kind of a mediocre or even bad ad and see that it can still work.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. Just the important thing is that the ad cannot be indirect. Like it has to be very
Mm.
direct and explain what the service is.
Right.
Because some people will think, oh, I'm trying a mediocre thing,
Mm.
and they will just use a
Mm.
branding campaign type of slogan
Right.
saying, "We are an agency that will fix everything,"
Mm.
or something poetic.
The actual problem, right?
Yeah.
So when you show this, I think like a lot of people will feel like, oh, but I don't know anything about meta ads, etc. But literally, I mean, this is like you can basically go in, create an account, and learn it, right?
A week would be a good time to set to try it out and learn. I think within 1 week you can suck in all the information you need initially. Facebook, Instagram ads are not complex. You just have to know what are the common pitfalls because there are a lot of common pitfalls. For example, when you create ads inside of Facebook, what Facebook will do is that it will try to get you to spend as much money as possible on useless campaigns. So that means that it will try to push you towards doing campaigns that are focused on branding instead of conversion.
Right.
Uh,
Mhm.
and you need to avoid it at all costs.
Mm.
Or, for example, using their simplified audiences, they work amazing sometimes, but sometimes they don't. You need to use the very specific narrow targeting
Mhm.
sometimes if you're targeting something super narrow
Mm.
too. So there are a lot of small pitfalls. I don't think we need to go through all of them right now, but there are tons and tons of them. And if somebody's interested, you could search for meta ads tutorial on YouTube and just make sure that you search for 2025 or whatever year it is you're
Mhm.
watching because they change all the
Yeah.
time. And also be wary of that most of them are going to try to sell you a course or some kind of
Right.
course to start some money making scheme or whatever. Just completely ignore that and seriously ignore that. Don't fall for that. I have some friends that recommended to learn Facebook and they accidentally fell for that
Oh,
and it doesn't help. Don't
okay.
do that. You don't need that.
Okay.
Just learn the basics and then try doing some experiments yourself. Test with small budgets and experiment. I think it's very important to have a specific project and some ads you can try for it. Because if you just learn in theory and never use it, it will not be actionable at
Yeah.
all.
I mean, basically, the point is
Mm.
it's not that hard. Basically, someone
Yeah.
can't use that as an excuse. You literally go in there, you try, and then you figure out what you need to
Yeah.
learn, right? I mean, I did that. I didn't know any Google when I started Google Ads, when I started Funnel, but I
Mhm.
basically just created a Google account and I tried to create some ads and
Mhm.
it worked. And I did that for Meta now as well, although I'm stuck in their Kafka Novel support. But yeah, I mean, you just go in there and you create it. If you don't
Exactly.
know how, you just Google it and you learn about it, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And also, if you, let's say, don't have the experience to do that, I think there's so many hacks around this. Let's say you can hire some kind of virtual assistant who will create the ads for
That's
you.
right.
Let's say you're bad with design or graphics. It doesn't matter. Just hire somebody who will be as active as you. Don't hire somebody who's going to say, oh, this small ad is going to take me a whole week to do. No, no, this should take you 10 minutes
Yeah.
actually, because we're not trying to test for something
Yeah.
amazing. We're testing for
Right.
simplicity. I think that could be an easy way of just getting around that,
Yeah.
getting a VA that
Yeah.
can do the creatives and you can upload and choose the targeting. But I think it's good to just do it if it's the first time to learn it
Right.
yourself.
Cool. So basically, okay, let's go to Retainer
Yeah.
Bot. Now you built
Mm,
this for yourself, right? Like, are you using
mhm.
it
Yeah, daily,
daily? Okay.
religiously.
Okay.
Yep.
And what did your employees say? Like, aren't they worried that you're gonna monitor them
Mm.
and stuff?
I don't think so because the only thing I saw from them was enthusiasm. They're like, "Oh, finally, I'm gonna have a dashboard where I can see everything properly." That was
Mm,
the common reaction I got.
interesting.
So I don't know because all the emails are getting synced into our CRM anyways. So this is not something new. This is
Mm,
not like, "Oh, I'm giving away my emails." Like
right.
all the emails are already connected to our CRM and all the data is already there. So
Right.
it's
Okay.
same, different name now.
Right.
So for them, it's like I think the important thing is that they get this morning reports every day. I think that's what they look at the most. So they get an email every morning saying, "Hi Eric," or whoever the account manager is. "Here are your top 3 clients that are at risk, and this is my
Mhm.
suggestions. And there's also clients whose results are not matching the goals or they are not exceeding
Mhm.
them." So when he wakes up or when he starts to work,
That's
he just sees everything. He's like, "Okay, perfect. I know what to focus on today."
that's super helpful. Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
And nobody even looks at the website. I think most of the time spent is actually on the emails because
Mm,
99% of them get
right.
opened from what I can see.
Mm.
But the daily activity on the website is not as high at all.
I mean,
But the emails, they are
can
checked.
you like tell me a bit about like what's the architecture? So you read every email. Do you put every single email in a database or
Not really. I don't know how to explain it without spilling all the secrets here. But basically, we use Google's APIs or Microsoft's APIs to fetch access to the account and basically just get all the threads that are connected to specific domains or specific emails that belong to clients. So when we have that, we can just get rest of the emails, tag them, and analyze them, group them into threads because some of them are threads, and that creates a little bit of complexity
Mm,
in the code.
mm,
Some of them are also marketing emails. Let's say one of your clients is you're subscribed to their newsletter or you're not, but they're sending it
mm,
anyways. So we have to differentiate
mhm,
this and categorize them because you don't want to make an analysis of a wrong thing. So first analysis of LLMs, and then second analysis, third one, and then you get the fourth one where it's overall account. So it goes through
mhm.
many stages before it ends up there.
Right, interesting. Okay. How technical does someone need to know programming and have done programming for 15 years to build this?
I don't think so, but it really, really helps. I think if somebody would be comfortable with databases, this wouldn't be a problem at all for them. This is be easy, super easy to set it up. I think the knowledge of how databases are working, the structure, the schemas of them, that's the key knowledge here that anybody needs to have. How data is stored and how it's fetched, saved, updated. Because that's what all programming is. Like if we look at it under the basement, what are you making? Like if you fill out a form, you click enter, it saves in the database, and then when you log in, it says, "Hi, Yusuf, welcome," or something. So all you're doing is saving and retrieving data. So just understanding the architecture behind it, it will be more than enough, I think, to create something similar. I think a great way, if you want to start doing something like this, is maybe even starting with tools like Apollo, where they have this enrichment contacts, which will give you an insight how this works actually. So let's say you create a list of customers, just looks like a Google sheet, and you're like, okay, I want the next step. Okay, so you can create this step-by-step logic that will just take the information, do something with it, and give you different outputs.
Right.
So when you understand this flow and where it's saved and where you can, oh, I can catch the final result from here, you can just time it basically. You will create like automated jobs that run at a certain amount of time. Like every 9 o'clock, we want to fetch all the information from, let's say, Facebook ads, so we know, so it's matching our goals or whatever it is.
Okay, you are using it, and what's your current, like, now you want to sell it, right? What's the, how are you gonna do that?
There are two ways of it. Number one is the traffic from Facebook to see if people are actually gonna directly convert on the website, which I don't think it's gonna happen because I think the product costs too much and needs a demo. So the idea here is that I want to, like, number one is that I'm gonna have appointment setters that are gonna do cold calling in America.
I mean, are you doing this? Are you doing this even before you've tested the idea if it's interesting for others?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because I need to do a small test.
Right. Like you're
Exactly.
trusting that it will be possible. Okay, you're using the salespeople that you're gonna hire to do the test, basically. Haven't you talked to others and found out if it's interesting for others?
I called some other competitors of ours, and all of them wanted to test it. So that was the sign for me that okay, they really want to, and I have onboarding with one of them.
You mean other agencies, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Other Swedish agencies that are, let's say, friends or we compete with. Some of them we are actually white label agency for them, so it's a little bit messy relationship. But yeah.
Okay, cool. So you've kind of tested it by talking to other potential users.
So when I created it, first ads, run the ads while mouse slow was running. I was also at the same time calling just some friends and asking them about it. So you have to compress everything together.
You did all of this. You built it, you did the ads, you did the website, you implemented it for your own company, like while running Trendflow in a month, in 1 month. I mean, like, how? It's like, I don't know anyone who,
I don't know.
like, you just sit. How much do you work?
It depends on the day, but it's like at least 8 hours for my agency per day ish. It depends. Sometimes it could be like 5 hours, or sometimes it could be 10. It depends on what's going on. But when that is done, or it's like lunch break or something, or if I have like 30 minutes between meetings, I will just open a VS Code and start messing with something.
Wow, just like that.
Or if I'm on my lunch break, I will just be like, oh, I wonder what this agency does. And I'll just call them and ask them because I'll be quite restless otherwise. I'm not the type of person who will be able to sit too much still. So that also helps.
Right. So we're again back to this thing where you don't like put in a list and plan a time to do this task. You just do it basically immediately. Like
Yeah,
you have
always.
30 minutes,
Always,
you
yeah.
just code a bit.
Yeah.
Why are you
exactly.
not?
Like always on? I think is
Are
the.
you never tired?
Yes, I am. I get burned out a lot. I think my weekends are where I just lose my energy normally
Okay.
and I just crash out.
Yeah, but actually you can get surprising amount of work done if you just do stuff. If you just forget about documents and stuff, you just do stuff, right?
Exactly. You know this principle of 80-20? I really like this principle because like they say that the 20% of the task you do give you the 80% of results.
Right.
Or however it goes, and I really believe in this. Like I really, that's my motto basically. I don't know the exact formula from the book, but that's usually how I think. That's really my mindset. If something is gonna give me results, I will do it. If it's gonna be too long term to something else, won't even bother. An example could be like, friends who will say, I'm going to try something out, and they will start writing a newsletter for 5 years before they even get something. And for me, this would be, oh, nope, we're not going to even touch this. So that's I think, what also helps with the speed to just always think, okay, will this be closer to me getting revenue? Will this be closer for me to validate and get revenue?
Right. And what about coding? Like, I mean, building a software like this, it would take like 3 months for a normal development team. How did you do it
Yeah,
in like
I guess.
a week, basically? Because I'm like compressing this must have taken roughly
Yeah.
less than a week if you did everything else at the same time. So how did you do
Mhm.
that?
Like, I think, yeah, like 1/2 week or something, or 2 weeks to polish it properly. I think also with developers, I think it's a big misconception that a lot of things need to take time, and I'm gonna say something maybe I'll regret, but I think most developers are stupid and they don't know what they're doing. I think that's a very common thing.
Mhm.
A lot of people hire developers and they don't know what it means to develop
Uh-huh.
themselves. So they will hire somebody who is, like, half competent, will drag their ass and just not give you results. And I think most of the developers out there are one of those. They will not create something that's going to be functional instantly. And I think also what they do is mistake is that a lot of them are trying to make products that are going to be institutional. Like they're making something for the US government that needs to be written in Java from 2005 or something. And a lot of this stuff is just really wrong to build, in my opinion. I think a lot of people are misusing a lot of code to hide like that they are already done with the thing. A lot of people want to make it more fancy in the code and make it look more secure, more structured, more clean. But what they are doing is they're just cosplaying business owner. They're just cosplaying coding, if that makes sense. They're not doing actual job. What my project is, it's a very simple code in the core, and I'm not over complicating. I'm trying to code everything modularly, so it's kind of understandable, so it doesn't become a spaghetti code, but it's also really efficient in general. So let's say a person would create a button that you click a register button. They would maybe make a specific file for this specific button and have lines of code in it and be like, oh, what happens if this button is loading? Should it show to an animation? Or, like it could be like a lot of ifs, like, oh, if they click, the animation would show and then animation would go off and they should be redirected to a different page. Why even do that? That's crazy to me. In my mind, I'm like, you're cosplaying. You're like literally like playing in the sandbox. You're not doing real job. I would just make, here's the button. If you click on it, you go to the next page. Don't overcomplicate it. Like there is these small things that get coders into this perfectionistic hole, I would say. They start making everything object oriented for no reason, which is a type of coding where you don't absolutely need to. This project needs a database. If you like strip it down to the basis, we need a database where we can store the data. We need APIs that can get the data there and save it. And then we need other functions to analyze it. And then we think about it like this. Okay, what is this? This is like literally like 10 different files with databases and models. So in theory, this is already working.
Right.
So now what we do is like, okay, now it's working in the background. Let's make it a website and let's make this into actually structured code that can run by itself. And plus, by the way, I'm using AI a lot. Like I'm thinking like 80% of the code is also AI written, just so you know. So when you do this combo, you can just, yeah, start with the important things, just get them running, test them live. You don't also it's something people that programmers do. They write test codes that are gonna test their own code.
Oh, I see.
You don't need it right
Mhm.
now. Like in this format, when you're just beginning, you don't need this. You're
Mm,
overcomplicating. You can just
mm.
go refresh, click on the buttons, see where it breaks.
Right.
It doesn't take any time.
And also probably mentally, like I think it's fear,
Yeah,
honestly. I think it's fear, right?
definitely.
Because like
Hmm.
I think people
Yeah.
don't I would boil it down to a couple of things. Like one thing is for sure, like on the surface level you could say that it's basically don't overcomplicate. Just do what needs to be done for it to work, right?
Exactly. Simplicity.
Exactly. But then secondly, I think that there is something internal in many people, including myself, but I like always trying to overcome this tendency that like trust yourself. You can literally think, okay, what needs to happen for this to work? And you can basically imagine it in your head. Like we need to get an email, then we need to probably store it in a database. We need to probably like have AI analyze it and create some kind of summary, right? And then we need basically probably another AI that reads these summaries and creates a overall customer summary or something like that. Like you can literally think like this. But I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
uh,
Exactly.
people are basically thinking that, oh, there must be some best way of doing it out there and do it that way. But
Yeah.
you can actually just think, how should it work and do that?
That I think is a key point. I think we will think what should work out there. Like they
Mm,
try to use best practices,
right.
which I think is a trap. Yeah, it's gonna kill you. If you
Mm,
do what works for others, you're gonna create mediocre
right.
products.
Right. Exactly. Cool.
You're gonna just replicate everybody else.
Okay, super interesting. So
Yeah.
now you have this product for yourself and you have a test customer, you said, and you're gonna hire a sales team, right? And you're going to basically start selling it and you're also gonna do ads, correct? So that's your
Hmm.
steps now,
Yep.
right?
Exactly.
That's actually what
Yep.
building a
Exactly.
business is. I mean, that is literally what a business needs. It needs like leads, you're doing the leads. You need
Hmm.
sales, someone who demos, right? You're just hiring a sales team and doing the demos. Now, before we end, something I like to do is compare your mental model to how reality turns out in the future. So
Mhm.
let's say
Mhm.
that if we speak in a month from now, what will have happened if you had to bet $10,000? If
Mhm.
you're correct, you win double. If you're wrong, you lose the 10,000.
Yeah.
What's your bet? How will the status be? Describe how it looks 1 month from now, your entire new business here.
It's either gonna be successful or dead by 1 month.
Hmm. Okay. And what is successful?
It has proven itself that it can generate sales. I think sales is very underestimated. I think sales is the most important thing for a business. If it has sustainable
Mhm.
sales, everything else will be fine. So that's how I
Mm.
look at it. If I know that sales is fine, I can scale it. I know approximately how to do it. Sure, it takes a lot of effort and headache, but if I know just that part of the key can open the door, that's more enough for me because then I will know that I can just scale this. And even with other changes in the market, I'm pretty confident that I can adopt. And yeah, I think that's the main thing right now I'm looking at. I don't look at it for much more ahead. I have some models in my head of how success would look like economically, if it works, how I'm going to divide everything. But I try to never think about them in that terms, more like is this gonna be successful? Am I gonna discard this business at the end of the month or
Mm.
not?
Right. Very, very fast.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
Okay. Where do you think the
Yep,
sales will come
exactly.
from?
I think it's gonna be cold calls, to be honest. That's
Really?
the thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's one bet I would make
Mm.
probably. I think it is gonna be more profitable with cold calls
Mhm.
than Facebook ads, actually. I
Interesting.
think it's an underestimated tool. Most people are afraid of doing it. They think it's nasty or
Mm.
they don't like receiving calls themselves.
Mm.
It's like you're not everybody.
Right. Well, super exciting. I mean, this is going to be really fun
Mhm.
to follow. So we'll see you in the next call and see what your status is then and what you've learned then. Let me just summarize the call. Actually, I would say that if there is the one lesson here, it is stop being afraid, just do stuff.
Yeah, let yourself do the stuff. Yeah,
Right.
like don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good way to phrase it. Let yourself do this stuff, right? Because I think, at least me, I'm pretty sure that everyone has this. They have this impulse, oh, I want to do this. But then probably something happens
Mhm.
in their mind. They block themselves. They say, oh, but I need to
Exactly.
plan or I need to check or whatever. Like, no, just
Mhm.
do.
Let the kid
Yeah,
out.
let the kid out. We're all kids inside. So let
Yeah,
him out.
yeah,
Cool.
exactly.
And that's how you're so productive. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Thanks for the interview.
Yeah, thank you, thank
All
you.
right. See you next time.
Talk to you
Bye
later.
bye.
Bye bye.